All right, we are live, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Welcome to the Smacktalk Wrestling Podcast, episode 7, entitled The Decision. Yeah, we're doing titles now. Welcome, guys. Welcome back. Angel, AOK Gaming, David, Raising Personalities. Welcome, guys. How you guys doing tonight?
Good, glad to be back. Thank you.
Oh
Hope you're doing
yeah,
all right.
I'm doing good tonight. I just wanted to quickly cover that Cody Rhodes has used the pedigree on Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 39. That did not end in a win for him. He's
Oh
used
my
it on Seth
God.
Rollins. That
I'm
did
about to
not
mute
end in a
this kid
win.
already.
Finn Balor. That did not end in a win. And Shinsuke Nakamura twice. That also did not end in wins in either of those.
So were
I
you
just.
bored this week?
Oh,
Were
I
you
Okay, when you
was.
say it didn't end, real quick, when you say it didn't end in wins, was there a pinfall immediately following the finish, or did he get interrupted?
Yeah,
There's a
each
big
of
difference
those.
there.
Yes, each of those.
It was an
So did
immediate
you
pinfall?
did you happen since you want to start talking shit? Did you happen to Google how many times Kevin
It's
Owens did Stone
Smacktalk,
Cold
actually.
Stunner? You know what? I'm about to mute you because this guy's pissing me off. Now, real quick, did you happen to Google how many times Kevin Owens did the Stunner and did not win?
That's not the topic of
Chirp
discussion.
chirp
It was
chirp
the
chirp
pedigree.
chirp chirp.
Oh, I'm
Anywhere,
sorry, you had me
anyone,
muted. But
anyone. Chirp chirp.
welcome to Smack Talk
Yeah.
tonight. I figured we'd start off with a bang right away. So thank you for everyone for joining.
I'm about to mute him again. Derek, if you're listening, you're hired. All right, welcome, guys. Once again, a little bit about the show. If this is your guys are a first timer, what this show is a WWE podcast. We discussed this past week in pro wrestling, and we smack talk each other. And at times, we want to slap each other in the face, like how this show started. But it's all in good fun. We've all known each other all our lives. You'll get to know us a lot more. If you guys do watch, we appreciate you guys commenting as much as you can. I will bring up your comments. We'll talk about it if it's something that relates to the topic that we're talking about. Like, share. Please do that active engagement. We love it. So, getting right into it, we're going to start with Drew McIntyre as his savagery. Wow, savagery continues. Recently, Gonzo, I'm sure you saw that TikTok since you're all about the social media promos. Why don't you take us on Drew McIntyre's latest TikTok of CM Punk and his epic trollness?
Oh man, where do I begin? It was it this week that he released the CM Punk "You've Got Me Working with Children," where he specifically quoted Hangman Adam Page, and then he just took that and then inserted it and put Seth Rollins in there instead. Okay, so there's that. And then there's also him, was it on Instagram Live or TikTok Live, where he was literally in his car after a show and he was just driving by and he started blasting CM Punk's music to the fans. That
All
was
the fans,
great.
it was just crazy because all the fans, even though he's a heel, obviously you see a
love it.
superstar. You see a superstar, whether you're a heel or a face, you're always going to be like, oh my God, it's Drew McIntyre. Oh my God, it's whoever it is. And they're all cheering for him. And he's like, oh yeah, hey. And then plays the CM Punk song. And it's just like, man, like he just had that queued up. It's just, Drew McIntyre is just arguably my favorite heel right now in just pro wrestling, just because of what he does, just trolling CM Punk, who hasn't even been there and responded to anything.
You know what had me rolling? I know I'm jumping the gun real quick. It's the end of Raw. I know we'll get there, but when Seth Rollins comes sprinting out to come help, they had a close up of Drew McIntyre's face.
He was shocked, like, you're just gonna walk right by me, bro? That just shows that Seth could give a shit about Drew, dude.
His eyes and his facial, his mouth was open, and he's like, as he sprinted by him. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, it just goes to show you right now that Drew McIntyre is just on a whole nother level. I mean, it's just he's just gonna do whatever he wants to do. What is just it's just crazy to me is that we haven't heard anything from CM Punk, which is just like, not that that's a bad thing. Obviously, he's rehabbing, doing his thing, whatever he's got to do. But I'm not trying to say it's a bad thing at all. It's just what I'm saying is I definitely feel like something's going to happen at WrestleMania, because you can't have CM Punk just silence this entire time, unless they're really just building him to his 100%. And he's going to come on, do what he's got to do. But I feel like CM Punk's going to have some type of role, when it comes to Drew McIntyre and WrestleMania. I don't know. What are you guys' thoughts on all that? Do you think they just save it for after, or do you think he has some type of role in WrestleMania? Or
Drew's speaking for him. That's the whole point. He probably has an agreement with Drew, like, keep going. Just keep my fire lit. And you can say whatever you want, wear the shirt, play my music, but just make sure they know I'm coming back. And Drew's like, gotcha. That's what's happening.
Yeah. So do you think he does something at WrestleMania at all, or what do you think, to help fuel that rivalry even more?
Punk?
Mm-hmm.
That's tough,
rebuild.
man. I feel like he might, but I don't know. There's a lot slated for those 2 nights, so I don't know. He might be able to do something the first night, I guess. It depends when they're going to do this. I guess the second night's the actual title fight, right? Because they got to have Seth fight in the tag team fight match. So the World Heavyweight title's on the line the second night, probably. I guess the second night it could happen. We'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, it's definitely. He'll be there on the pre-show, so that's for sure. He's going to be involved in WrestleMania. He's going to be in Philly. I know he's got a lot of meet and greets.
WWE World or whatever.
Yeah, whatever that is. He's got a Dale, so he'll definitely be there. Special guest referee for the World Heavyweight title fight. Doubt it. I don't know. That'd be funny though. I miss those special referee matches. Those were kind of lit, but doubt it. But we shall see. Moving on as we still continue to talk about Seth Rollins. So Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre. I feel like as though their match at WrestleMania has been second fiddle because Seth Rollins is so consumed with taking down the bloodline, which is feeding Drew McIntyre even more. Drew McIntyre is just making great points that he's not being the focus and he wants to make himself the focus. And they want the World Heavyweight. He wants the World Heavyweight Championship to be the main focus on everything. Calls Rollins a spotlight junkie. I thought that was absolutely hysterical. And it seems as though Seth hasn't listened to Drew McIntyre's advice on staying out of Bloodline and Cody Rhodes' business. And we saw that come to fruition on Monday Night Raw when he did what, Dave? Run past Seth Rollins came out, run past Drew, and Drew was like, the fuck? Like, you just don't care about me? And then
it was his facial expression. It was perfect. Like, he was in utter shock and he couldn't believe it. He's like, WTF, are you serious after everything I've told you? That's the vibe that I got.
Yeah, for sure. Angel, what do you think?
I mean, yeah, I wonder how much of it is actual like shoot a little bit, just because Drew's, I mean, he's constantly crying. I mean, not crying, but he's just constantly having to force himself into the spotlight. He calls Seth the spotlight junkie, which is funny and is kind of true. But at the same time, so are you, Drew. Like, all of this doesn't involve you, and you're so pissed off about it. For sure, we can tell.
But with good reason, though.
Oh, 100% good reason. He's looking past. Everyone's looking past him. Nobody's looking at
this whole World Heavyweight Championship. I feel like as though it has not even been booked, even though it has been booked and we know it's happening. It's because Seth is not out here dropping. Yeah, Seth is not coming out here dropping promos on his World Heavyweight title defense. He's out here dropping promos that we have to take down the bloodline. Cody's last chance. If Cody doesn't do it, he needs to fix, the WWE with him taking the bloodline out of power and bring the power back to the fans. And not at any point has he been dropping promos on, our match, you and I are going to have an epic battle, blah, 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 this or whatever he wants to say. And that's what Drew McIntyre is so pissed about. And that's what I love about it. So, yeah, he's an attention junkie because his match, which is a World Heavyweight Championship match, or as The Rock likes to call it, the loser bracket championship.
That was Roman.
Oh, Roman, the loser bracket championship is not even getting any type of promotion for this match. And we're trying to figure out, when is it going to happen? Well, as we now know, it'll probably open night 2 of, WrestleMania, because there's no way you're going to make Seth, I don't think he's 100%, fight twice on one night. So, I mean, Angel said last week he has 3 matches. So, I mean,
he does.
Essentially,
3 matches. And his knee's barely working, but he's got 3 matches. So, yeah. So, hey, I love Seth, but good luck, bro. Good luck.
So, still on Drew McIntyre. So he had his match with Jey Uso. We saw the Bloodline once again get involved. Jimmy Uso and Solo get involved. Seth comes, Cody helps, and then we see the McIntyre attack Seth, which I love because he's the real attention junkie, and just give me more Drew McIntyre at this point. And his rise to popularity in my eyes, in my personal eyes, went from I don't give a shit to I need more. And I just absolutely love it. You guys have anything else you guys want to say about Drew McIntyre and his savage ways?
His savage ways. I was just going to say that with the Uso, that's another Avenger that's now being implemented into the Great War.
Oh, so that was a given. That's not even another Avenger. We
just have to highlight that. That's another Avenger being added.
Yeah. He's definitely out there. Him and Seth. probably his brother. Heel Drew is 10 times better than the face. Matt A. Oh, is that about it? Yeah. 100%. A billion percent. My favorite heel right now.
So for me, when it comes to Drew, I think The Rock needs to take a page out of McIntyre's book when it comes to social media promos. Drew's posts,
Drew,
15 seconds.
Quick and to the point.
They're funnier and more viral than The Rock's 45-minute diarrhea moments. Than it's not even close. So
did you say diarrhea or diary moments?
No, diarrhea Dwayne.
Diarrhea Dwayne.
I'm just saying, diarrhea Dwayne actually got over on Friday night, so I was not anticipating that.
We'll get there.
I know.
That's the main event, man. Calm down.
I'm just talking about promos. He needs to take a page out of Drew's.
I'm just look at. You guys are doing awesome in regards to this show and WWE, but I go into a broader range of wrestling, AEW, TNA, New Japan, MLW. I have too much content that I need to watch. I don't need a 20-minute promo on YouTube to watch.
Nobody wants.
I'm not gonna do
this
it.
Guy.
So right here, Drip Bayless needs that.
So. Yeah, but the Rock social media posts. Hold on, what's it say? Yeah, but the Rock social media posts are better than in ring. Agreed. Because otherwise we're just gonna hear Cody crybabies and clown show emojis and fruity pebbles and all that stuff that we loved when we were 6.
Fruity pebbles.
But I digress. Anything else on the Drew McIntyre savagery?
I know. I think we could. I was gonna say. I think we could move on.
I thought Jay did well in his match. He got robbed, obviously. Thanks to,
of course. I mean,
they're brother, as we knew it was going to happen.
Yeah, they're feeding that rivalry. You're going to have the Uso, fight at WrestleMania.
Exactly. So, he needs the fire. He's already gotten how many losses is this for him because of
second straight? I think within 3 weeks.
Yeah, one for a title. Then this
one for the Intercontinental Championship, and this one was just for Drew's little payback match and. Wanted to make him apologize, but yeah, I mean both matches were well. I mean, if he would have beat Gunther on Raw, which obviously wasn't going to happen, I would not have been mad whatsoever.
Yeah, it was good matches.
Yeah, but obviously we're feeding into the WrestleMania season. We got to get those big time matches. So the Bloodline for a second year in a row is definitely going to main event WrestleMania both nights, and it's going to be the focal point on both nights, regardless. With the Usos, Solo if he has a match or not, which I doubt. Well, he does have a match technically. He's going to show up on the main event, but
just a bodyguard.
It is what it is. All right. So moving on, the Judgment Day and Imperium feud. We had Dom versus Gunther in what I thought was an absolute brutal match. Gonzo got to see his boy Dom get annihilated with the Gunther chops, which I absolutely love. But David likes burying Imperium. So Gonzo, what do you think of this match?
I like Gunther by himself. So the two Stooges that he has, unfortunately, I'm not too fond of them. Now, I know Kaiser is really gifted, but the reality is I would like for them to have more gold. They don't have that. They have Gunther, and then the other guys, they don't have anything. I know the one dude was hurt. So I know I was given a lot of mixed singles last week, and I know I put a couple people almost in a casket 6 feet under. And
you did not have a good showing on social media.
Here is my chance potentially to redeem myself, possibly. Trigger content incoming. So I like Gunther. The two guys, like I said, I wish that they would have a little bit more gold. I know that, not Kaiser, but the other guy has been hurt for a little bit. So that I know has derailed some things.
Can I interject? When you say more gold, you mean do you wish they were tag team champions?
Tag team champions. I don't even know what other titles that there are, but just something because
so actual champion. You just wish they had championships, is what you're saying?
Yeah, championship gold. Okay. So how Judgment Day has championship gold, where again it's a collected bunch. I like that because it further solidifies a lot of the characters. And so I know I took a real hot take when I said I don't care about Damian Priest. What I meant to say last week in that segment when he comes out, I did not want to see him versus Gunther. Because, again, he's got the briefcase. I just wanted to see somebody else in that moment because Priest going against somebody else of the higher tier with one of the 2 title shots, right? This is essentially how I've been conditioned, that he's going to be a major pop. He's going to do some major things. Now, as far as Dominic Mysterio goes, I love the fact that he got annihilated in this match. I love the fact that he got annihilated in that match. Now, as far as a entertainer, yeah, Dom's great. But as an in-ring performer, in comparison to his father, not even close. Not even close. If you compare him to some other individuals that are on the roster, like El Idolo and some of these other dudes, I'm sorry, Dom's all the way down here. And then these other dudes are up here. But entertainment factor, he's great. Definitely great.
Okay. Well, I mean, so something to touch on. I think Imperium is gonna get a bigger push after post WrestleMania. We don't know who the Judgment Day is going to defend the tag team championships against yet, but I think it will be Imperium just because of their feud for the past few weeks.
At WrestleMania?
At WrestleMania. It's either going to be them or it's either going to be The Miz and R-Truth being reunited. What was that? Awesome Truth. Those are my only two prospects that I see facing the Judgment Day.
Generation X?
That's right.
D-Generation X. So those are my only two prospects. So if I think it would either be Imperium, or if you really want to, push the popularity of R-Truth, then you reunite him with, The Miz and have, Awesome Truth. Both would be a good story. So either one I wouldn't be mad about. Personally, I would prefer the Imperium because I love Imperium so much. But Angel, what did you think about that with the Dom and Gunther brutal match type deal?
It was a lot of fun. I thought it was a cool match. It was an interesting matchup. I wasn't sure I was going to go. Raw was kind of whatever. But when that match came on, I was excited to see how it was going to go. I like Pat McAfee bowing down to Gunther. I like that little storyline. He's pretty exciting. I mean, he's a different animal where I didn't think he was going to be able to continue this run. This Roman Reigns style run with the title. He's got the what title does he have?
The Intercontinental Championship.
The IC. Okay. Couldn't remember if it's called something else. Okay, the IC title. I just wasn't sure how he was gonna pull this off, all these days. But so far he's making it fun, and his mic skills are decent. He's promoting his belt every time he can. Imperium as a crew, I kind of see what Gonzo was saying. Like, as a crew, all they really got is like their entrance when he takes off the jacket and Kaiser flips it back, and together as the three, like they don't really have like many moves together, stuff like that. But maybe they'll get better at it. Maybe Imperium will be more just Kaiser and Vince, or was it Vincent? Vinny? Forgot his name. Vinci, thank you. And then Dom was impressive. I thought he was undersized, so what is he going to do here? He started chopping him, and Michael Cole's like, why is he chopping him? And it was interesting to see like him use these tactics against Gunther, and he almost pulled it off, as far as like, making it seem like he could really win this match. And, he went back to, he didn't really do Rey Mysterio moves. He stuck more to, his dirty tactics, and he almost pulled it off. But, it was a good match. I thought it was entertaining. I thought Dom sold the match pretty well, and I was entertained for it. So I like to see Dom get more matches. I want to see him do some more stuff outside of Judgment Day. I think he needs it.
I agree, man. And I think people don't give Dominic Mysterio his flowers, man, because his growth from, COVID with no fans and basically just getting called up right away. He never went to NXT up until now. I think he's a star in the making, and I think he's starting to turn people's minds around after they were saying, "Oh, he shouldn't be there just because he's Rey Mysterio's son," and all that nonsense. The guy can go, and he's doing a phenomenal job.
I mean, he might be Rey Mysterio's son, but his tactics are Eddie Guerrero. He's full on Eddie Guerrero in the ring without that talent level. I'm not saying he's Eddie Guerrero talent wise, but his tactics, the way he moves around the ring, the way he can somehow pull off moves, the way he rolls out of the ring every time he's in trouble, Eddie Guerrero in the ring.
That's his son, remember? So, I mean, of course.
Well, yeah. He's got the rights, right? He's got
he does the frog splash, Three Amigos, looks just like him, had the little, the Peso Puma mullet thing going on, So it is what it is. All right, so Dom got dominated towards the end. He got hit with, I thought was just a beautiful power bomb.
The clotheslines were really good.
Clotheslines. I mean, I thought the match was just solid. I really didn't see many many things that was wrong with that match, but I don't like to call out botches because I can't do what these guys can do regardless anyway. So that's not me. Anyway, backstage, he was getting checked out in the medical room, Dom, after his match. We saw Andrade El Idolo just pop in, walks in the training room, checks on him. Then all of a sudden he says, "See you soon." So is this like one of the first things of maybe Dom defecting eventually? Maybe trying to figure out something to do with Andrade, which I know David doesn't really care about. Is this something that maybe they form a tag team? Maybe he gets him away from the Judgment Day. Is everything set to implode? Because you got Senor Money in the Bank still hasn't cashed in. Like, what's going to happen here? What do you guys think of just that little, 30 seconds of Andrade going in there? What are your thoughts on that?
I'm hurt attacking me like that. That's terrible.
Yeah.
Tell me a reason why I should be invested in Andrade anyway. All right, I'll wait.
No, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm saying you don't like him. I like his in-ring ability, but his character, besides him being in NXT in his first stint, he really has not been interesting character-wise. So I'm not arguing with you.
He hasn't been interesting even in the other.
You didn't even watch him in NXT.
Even in the other company, unfortunately. His in-ring stuff is great. That I don't knock.
Exactly.
Like, his in-ring stuff is phenomenal, except the problem is he can't talk on the mic. I think that's the biggest thing that's holding him back. And if you pair him with Dirty Dom now, Jailhouse Dom, ex-con Dom, I mean, ultimately, it's one of these things at the moment where I think he could be the mouthpiece then for Andrade, right? And then those two can do a lot of, who knows, as far as piecing together, making some noise. I think that would be a really powerful pairing, to be truthful with you.
Okay. Angel, what'd you think about that?
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm wondering if there's some... Right now, WWE's got all these factions kind of lined up with each other. I'm wondering if we're going to see the Legado de Fantasma.
Legado del Fantasma.
Fantasma, yeah.
Tongue twister.
LWO and these two starting something. I don't know what's going to happen. Like, can they start their own Latino faction here? We'll have 3 different ones somehow, or he like pulls Damien with him too, and they pull off this like crazy power battle between these factions. Like, I don't know, it's just something interesting I'm looking at, and
that's some fantasy booking right there.
Like they got 3, these 3 Spanish factions. You saw Dragon Lee, he's probably gonna team up with LWO, but Ray's back kind of, so we'll see what happens. But it's an interesting concept they're pulling off here. I want to see what happens, but it definitely depends on what Judgment Day has happened to them.
Well, agreed. Well, Andrade definitely has mommy's attention, as now he's just being watched because they don't know what his intentions are, or maybe mommy wants to recruit him for Judgment Day, which I highly doubt. I think that one's a stretch. But regardless, Andrade definitely has the attention of the Judgment Day. Still with the Imperium feud, Priest and Balor, I thought had a great match with Imperium. The crowd was seemingly behind both teams. Like I said earlier, could this be the WrestleMania tag team title match, or what are we thinking when it comes to the undisputed tag team championships for WrestleMania? What's their outlook? Gonzo, what do you got?
Go ahead, Gonz. Yeah.
That's where I was hoping they would have lost in Perth, to be truthful. I mean, because here is a good example. Who are they going to go against at WrestleMania if you allow them to go over in Perth? And that was my whole point several weeks ago, was where are you going to find room for that title on 1 or night 2? It makes it very difficult. You put them on the pre-card, the pre-show. Like, I definitely don't want to see them there, right? And as it stands, like, who would be a legitimate faction or a team to go against? Yeah, Imperium. I mean, I would like to see that. That'd be really cool, but I don't know. There just doesn't seem like a big payoff for it, because those titles are very important, but there's not a feud right now that makes me want to spend time to invest in it, if that makes sense.
I mean, it makes sense, but you necessarily don't really have to have a feud that's going into it. I mean,
but they don't even have that technically, right? I mean, it's like there's something missing right now.
Yeah, no, but
that's drawing me in.
But what I'm saying is that you don't necessarily have to have a feud going into it. I mean, there's number 1 contender matches that pop up all the time. I mean, we just had one on NXT. We'll talk about it later. And Stand and Deliver's 4 weeks away. I mean, you could always fix that issue. You don't necessarily need to go for a long-lasting feud. I mean, same thing how we have the number 1 contender match for the IC title next week, or I'm sorry, not next week, on Monday. We have that. I mean, I get what you're saying as far as like meaning, but I mean that's just like a simple fix when you're in regards to someone. But I think what makes sense is Imperium or the whole Awesome Truth when it comes to feuds that have been ongoing or at least around. So that's why I feel like those two teams make the most sense as of right now. If I had to book it,
Awesome Truth to me would make a little bit more sense just because of the whole, decimating R-Truth, and I mean, there's just a little bit more substance there that has a lot of my buy-in. Imperium, yes, too, but Awesome Truth, R-Truth, that in itself would be, I think, a really cool push if they were to go that direction. But then again, that's just where we're at.
Angel, what were you gonna say? I think we cut you off there.
I mean, yeah, this is the problem, and the same thing that happened to McIntyre's happening to the tag team titles. You have a bigger tag team matchup headlining the first day, and no matter what you do, you cannot serve up this match as a great match, a tag team match compared to that one. Like, yeah, I know the title's on the line. Judgment Day's a really cool, champion team. Who they're gonna face, I don't really think even matters at this point. They're unfortunately buried by the hype around this bloodline story, this Cody Rhodes story. It's so massive. It's kind of eating up everything around it, and it's cool, and I love it because it's so fun and unique. But it's almost taking up the entirety of this road to WrestleMania at this point. Like it's devouring everything that's close to it. And this is another victim to it, I think, is this tag team matchup situation. I don't know. The Final Testament's fun to watch, but I don't, they just got here. Awesome Truth is fun too. Regeneration X, cool, fun. But tag team titles, I don't know about that. So, and then you got these guys that just lost, Dunn and Big Strong Boy, but I don't know. Do you rematch them? They haven't barely had anything to do with Judgment Day since they lost. So
I mean, I'm glad you brought that up because they did a spot on SmackDown, I believe, where he was playing the video game, and then he was like, "Oh, let me go find out about the tag team title situation." Right. So maybe we have some type of number one contender thing going up. But Matt A comes up with a big point, kind of agreeing with what you were just saying. He said the tag titles in the Judgment Days kind of puts the tag titles back to being irrelevant. After KO and Sammy lost the titles, where has the division gone? Straight down. And that's something that these guys know I always complain about when it comes to WWE, is just the lack of effort in a tag team division, which it's crazy to me because Angel just named off 5 factions. That's 5 factions full of teams right there. And you're not even including all the other tag teams that are available. So it's kind of ridiculous. They're not
Street Profits.
More. Yeah, he's in another freaking faction with the Bobby Lashley, whatever they're called themselves. Right. So, but you have all these tag teams there with nothing to do, right. And which is crazy because you should have something to do, and it's just not happening. And Matt says profits are a joke.
They're good in the ring. I like watching them wrestle.
For the past couple years, I have to agree with you. I mean, once the Usos took over those championships, they really haven't done anything since, and that's 3 years now. So, have to agree with you on that one. But moving on, last thing when it comes to the Judgment Day, or not the Judgment Day, with Gunther. So they announced on Monday Night Raw we are going to have a number one contender gauntlet match, and those competitors include Sami Zayn, Ricochet, Shinsuke Nakamura, Bronson Reed, JD McDonough of the Judgment Day, and Chad Gable. So who wins? Walter. I miss Walter's name too.
Same again.
So the number one contender gauntlet match is as follows on Monday Night Raw. The number one contender for the Intercontinental Championship: Sami Zayn, Ricochet, Shinsuke Nakamura, Bronson Reed, JD McDonough of the Judgment Day, and Chad Gable. So who wins this match?
That's the final. That's it, right? There's no more spots.
No, there's no more spots. But I'll tell you right now, they have done gauntlet matches where and we have one more entry day of. You know what I mean? So just keep that in mind. So we got 2 comments here, Derek the Guy and Matt, saying Gable and Gable Meister. What do you guys think? Who makes the most sense for Gunther in his title defense?
Go ahead, Gonzo. Take it.
Sami Zayn, Ricochet, Shinsuke, JD McDonough, Bronson Reed, and Chad Gable.
Yep.
The two names that pop off to me are going to be Bronson Reed and Chad Gable. I know that Bronson Reed was going to be heavily pushed in the Elimination Chamber, and he was actually pulled from the chamber. And I think it had something to do. I think it was his child being born, if I read that report correctly. So Bobby Lashley actually filled in for him. So as far as Bronson Reed goes, I didn't know too much about him. I started looking up some things, and I didn't realize he wrestled in New Japan, didn't he? As far as their promotion. Yeah. So that was really awesome to see. I think he was going against the Rainmaker as the highlights that I was watching, and I was pretty impressed because, again, I don't know too much about Bronson Reed.
Look up his NXT stuff, bro. He was North American champion, fucking phenomenal. Like, this guy's doing big splashes off the top rope with ease. Like, the balance of for him being a big man, the guy's a monster.
Well, that's why I got so curious about it. Is
because of that. Moonsaults. He's doing moonsaults.
That's Angel's favorite right there, the Viking Raider.
Ivar can't talk shit.
And so those two names, that's why I said Bronson Reed and Chad Gable. Being selfish, I would like to see Bronson Reed. I like his presence. I like his physicality. But then Chad Gable, tell me a little bit more about Gable, because that's something that I myself don't know. Maybe someone in the comments can give a little bit more, some spark.
Chad Gable started in NXT with Jason Jordan, who Jason Jordan turned out to be Kurt Angle's illegitimate son. Then he got hurt, a career-ending injury, and now works backstage. Chad Gable then became kind of like the Daniel Bryan underdog, undersized type deal, but with like a mixture of Kurt Angle because he was an Olympian. So he kind of has that underdog mentality. He's very good in the ring. I think he's very flawless in the ring, to be honest. I think his character, with the whole "thank you" is really funny. I like the Alpha Academy. Him and Otis together, I think, is gold. He's had a couple matches with Gunther or Walter, whoever you want to call him. And they were phenomenal matches, even though he's freaking like a foot shorter than him. I mean, this guy was doing German suplex on him like it was nothing, putting him in submissions like it was nothing. So I think that would be a great match. I mean, since I'm talking right now, I might as well give you my predictions. There's only two people on this list that I believe make sense story-wise. If you want to continue with like a redemption type deal, I think Chad Gable would be the guy to go. If you want to continue this Judgment Day crap, their feud, then JD McDonough would be something, but JD McDonough just coming out of nowhere just doesn't really make sense. I don't think he would do it. There is one more guy that's not on this list, and like I mentioned before this segment started, WWE likes to do this, and there's one more person, and it's a person that both of you are going to hate, and so do I. It's what's his name? The ginger. I'm blanking out on his name right now.
Sheamus.
So Sheamus, they've had two epic battles for the Intercontinental Championship. So I would not be shocked if he's like the 7th competitor and just wins coming back. I don't like it, but if we want to build a story, with only 4 weeks left to WrestleMania, I think him and Chad Gable make the most sense. But if you want to push someone new, I'm 100% behind Gonzo when it comes to Bronson Reed because I love that guy. So
Sheamus is lined up to come back already?
He could come back, yes. I'm not. I think if I had to put my money on it, that's how they would bring him back. Is tomorrow or on Monday? I keep thinking today's Sunday. But if he doesn't come back, then I think it's 100% Gable with JD McDonough having like a 1% chance of shocking the world just because he's in the Judgment Day and just to keep that feud going. Couple comments here. Everyone seems to be on Gable. Derek, the guy that Gable can hit Chaos Theory on Braun Strowman is enough for me, giving him a freaking world title. Everyone loves Chad Gable. He has that underdog mentality. He who shall not be named, we're just going to put that up there. A mystery opponent. He is back on the site, which is kind of shocking. But I doubt it. He would have to show up tomorrow in order for that to happen. So.
He's back on the site. How? They're selling his stuff, or is his face on the site?
No, his whole name is physically back on the site. And for those, since we won't say the name, his finisher is the F5.
Yeah. Yeah, Angel. So who do you got in this gauntlet match? So David's got Bronson Reed. I think I got Chad Gable.
So Shinsuke's out. McDonough's out. Ricochet's cool, but I think he's out. And Bronson Reed, I think there's 3 viable choices here. Gable, Reed, and I actually think since you guys already talked about those 2, I think Sami Zayn has a shot to win this. He's been doing these promos one-on-one, talking about it's his time. You know, he deserves to be a champion. He deserves to have a title run. You know, he's kind of doing his little face version of McIntyre, but it seems like there's something there. I don't know exactly where he's going with it, but if Sami Zayn has anywhere to fit, this might be the spot for him to fill in this gap of like, we don't know who we want to put against Gunther while he's smoking everybody, but Sami Zayn might be someone that he's that underdog. I know Gable's that underdog too, so they kind of both fit the bill. But I could see Zayn also winning. I would not be surprised if he won. It's like a 33% chance for those 3, in my opinion. One of those 3 is winning. So,
all right. So we'll find out on Monday Night Raw. All right, let's move on. Let's take a little break. That took a lot of time. We're gonna play a game we like to call Push, Bury, Fire. If you guys haven't seen it, check those clips. We're all fighting with each other because David likes to troll and bury people for no reason. So we'll see what he's got today. I'll be very interested if we get into another fight. Last week was very eventful. If you missed the episode, go ahead and watch it. It's up on all our social medias. But right now, before we give each other's our Push, Bury, Fire, we have another request this week. Make sure you put some respect on Virgil's name tonight. Yeah, R.I.P. Virgil. Hell yeah, for the elders out there. Yeah, RIP for real. But yeah, so we got some Push, Bury, Fire tonight. Like I said, before we give our own, I'm sure we got some doozies for each other tonight. We have a request. This one is a women's one. This one was requested by Christian Rivera. So Christian, if you're watching, appreciate you commenting and giving us this Push, Bury, Fire. So we're going with a women's division. We got AJ Lee, Alexa Bliss, and Liv Morgan for Push, Bury, Fire.
Bliss, Morgan?
AJ Lee, Alexa Bliss, and Liv Morgan. That is our request for tonight.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yep. Gonzo, you want to go first on this one?
Yeah, no problem. We're gonna fire Liv Morgan, no hesitation there. We're gonna bury AJ Lee. We're gonna push Alexa Bliss to the moon. Okay. I already know Marc, you don't agree with Marc, that. We already know who Marc is already.
We're firing Liv Morgan because I don't get the appeal. I do not care about Liv Morgan. Sorry, she beat Ronda Rousey on some BS. I'm burying Alexa Bliss because I do love her work and I think she's awesome in ring, but she's nothing compared to the greatest woman of all time. That's right, I said it. AJ Lee, you're pushing her to the moon. You kidding me?
Angel, what do you got?
Wow.
You're gonna say Liv Morgan. You're gonna.
Of course, he's gonna push Liv Morgan. He loves that chick.
I know. I do not love Liv Morgan.
I got clips of you saying you love Liv Morgan, bro. Don't play with me.
No. I like Alexa Bliss a lot, actually. So, I mean, it's tough. I'm pushing Lee. She's just. Right. Yeah, I'm pushing AJ. I have to.
That's right.
She wasn't even I feel like her career was kind of short, to be honest, and she did so much. Bliss and Morgan, that's a tough one. I do like Morgan, but I think Bliss she's up there for me too. I mean, I'm probably gonna bury Bliss and fire Morgan, to be honest with you. I think Bliss has more of a chance to do something in the other company than Morgan would have.
I respect that. Gonzo, I got a question for you. Do you think he changed that shit up because we're talking crap?
No, I swear to God, that was already. I put 1, 2. Because of Liv Morgan, really? That was Derek. Derek loves Liv Morgan. That wasn't me. I said I like Liv Morgan. I think she's disrespected a lot.
Does Derek the guy have any comments on this? I know he's usually pretty boisterous in this.
Yeah,
I just like Derek's that we all fired Liv Morgan. Overrated. All right. Let's see what he says. It's obviously what?
Push AJ, bury Liv, fire Alexa. He said. Obviously.
Oh, okay. Well, at least we're all in agreement that AJ is getting pushed to the moon.
Oh, he fired Alexa? That's trash.
Jillian Hoban Gonzo says Liv Morgan is gross. I agree. Thank you. All right.
She's not gross. She's just not as good as Bliss and Lee.
Let's get with
not according to Derek, though.
All right, let's move on. Let's get with our own push berry fire. Angel, you're gonna give it to Gonzo. Gonzo, you give it to me, and I'll give it to Angel, and then we'll go in reverse. That sounded gross, by the way, but
Filthy. That sounded filthy.
So
Yeah.
I will be offering my push.
There you go. There you go. There you go.
First. Sound good.
Yes.
All right. I'm gonna do this one for Gonzo. I'm gonna save the other one for you.
Oh, okay.
Gonzo, Pushberry Fire, the hardcore title, the IC title.
Oh, titles. Another new one this week.
So hardcore title, the IC title. What was that last one?
United States Championship.
Okay, Angel out of the box today. Out of the box. I like it.
Man, that's wow. I was not prepared for that.
While David thinks, Angel, you and I are kind of on the same wavelength here because I'm saving something for David as well.
Oh yeah, okay. I have two decent ones, but I felt like this was more fitting for Gonzo, and the other one's more fitting for you.
Okay. You know what? I'll get rid of the US title. That's the one that I will get rid of. I'll bury the IC title and the hardcore title.
Okay.
I like the hardcore title because growing up, right, we're part of the Attitude Era, and so the US title, I didn't get a lot of exposure to that. Naturally, I feel like that's more of a WCW belt or whatever promotion that was for. IC, definitely it was there, but I mean, like the hardcore title, you had a lot of big name people that were not necessarily being pushed, and because at that time the card was so stacked with Hardcore Holly and Al Snow, and I mean, Mankind even held that title at one point, I believe, right? You had like all of these big time individuals that were not necessarily taking like these deathmatch dives all over the place, but there was a lot of comedy. There was a lot of seriousness to it. It was a different way to get the amount of talent over in various ways so that you could see different types of their personality. And you can create a lot of different stipulations with that. So the creativity of the hardcore title is the reason that I would push it as much as I would.
I'd have to agree, bro. I had it the exact same way.
I agree.
And I think it's biased because we grew up in the ECW era, Mankind, and the hardcore stuff was just, we loved it. So the IC title's amazing, but yeah, I think we're biased, but oh well.
No, I agree. No arguments there. So
wow. We'll clip this later. The fact that everyone's being nice to me right now. This is beautiful.
All right, Gonzo, you're up for myself.
Okay.
You're going to offer your Pushberry Fire to me now.
That is fine. I'm going to offer my Pushberry Fire. This comes directly from Andrew Abate.
Oh.
He wants to know if you're going to Pushberry Fire Adam Rose, Fandango, or the Hurricane.
Oh, dude, the Hurricane. That's my guy, though. Him and Rosie.
And Fandango himself.
Well, I could tell you right. Oh, did we lose Angel?
He'll be back.
I could tell you right now, Fandango can go to hell. He's getting fired. The fact that he beat Chris Jericho at WrestleMania and did absolutely nothing afterwards is a damn travesty. It's absolutely a slap in the face of the greatest of all time, Chris Jericho. And the Fandanglers, they could rest in peace. I don't care. But the fact that Fandango beat Chris Jericho at WrestleMania and did absolutely nothing afterwards is bullshit. So he can get fired. These last two are kind of hard for me because I love Adam Rose. Don't be a lemon, be a rosebud. That was my guy. But the Hurricane with Rosie, very near and dear to my heart. So we're going to push the Hurricane and we're going to bury Adam Rose.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a good one, Gons, I guess.
No, that's Andrew Abate 100%. So I figured that would be a good one.
Well, Abate, I appreciate that one, man. That was a pretty good one. That was a pretty good one.
Yeah.
Don't be a lemon.
All right, Angel, we're gonna go old school for yours. One of my favorite factions who contain who shall not be named, but we're gonna name the other three in this Pushberry Fire. We're gonna go the Radicals. If you remember that little faction, Eddie Guerrero, Perry Saturn, and Dean Malenko. And that's where we're stopping it. Just those three. Eddie Guerrero, Perry Saturn, Dean Malenko.
So you know who I'm pushing. So
of course. He's overrated, but go ahead.
Yeah. Pushing Eddie.
Uh-huh.
Perry and Dean.
You're parrying him?
No, I said Perry and Dean.
Perry
Perry
and
and
Dean.
Dean.
Perry Saturn. Yeah.
Perry and Dean. I'm saying their first names. Eddie, Perry, Dean. I'm gonna have to bury Dean and fire Perry Saturn. Dean Malenko, I think he's just more iconic in wrestling. I think he did more for the
Man of 1,000 holds,
for the
man.
whole genre. I mean, yeah, Man of 1,000 holds. What do you have? The 4-leaf. What was it called?
Texas Leaf Clover.
Texas Leaf
Texas Leaf
Clover.
Clover.
That no
was
one
he part
does
of the Four
anymore.
Horsemen at one point? Part
Yep.
of the Four Horsemen. Yeah, he's more iconic. Had bigger matches, bigger move sets, bigger groups. But yeah, everything was just better. Perry was a great. He was able to perform and get his niche in during an era where it was very difficult to get on screen, get in the ring, not a lot of spots, and he was able to get out there. So I give respect to Perry Saturn. I don't think he was a bum by any means. I would not call him a jobber or a bum like that. But he wasn't able to provide what he didn't get an opportunity that Eddie and Perry or Dean got. So maybe in another era, Perry would have had a bigger impact on a bigger career. But I'll have to fire Perry.
Okay. Gonzo, you agree with his push Perry fire?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, me too.
I do.
I do too. But I do love Dean Malenko, man of 1,000 holds. But we all know Chris Jericho's a man of 1,001 holds. Just saying.
1,001. He put the push Perry fire just to say that one line. He was waiting. He didn't even give a shit what I said.
All right, final round, counterclockwise. Angel, who do you got for me?
Oh, starts with me?
Yep.
All right. I mean, we talk about them enough, so might as well bring them into the push Perry fire part of our show. Jimmy J Solo.
Oh, we're going back to the bloodline? Oh,
That's
God.
right. That's right. Mark's favorite.
I mean, it is.
Yeah, I mean, you're wearing the freaking shirt.
A man that's tired of the bloodline, but yet wearing the merch. No problem.
It's cold down here, bro. It's cold down here. I'm pushing main event. I am burying Stolo, and I'm firing the other brother because he just does nothing.
So main event Jay, you're pushing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Solo, you're burying and firing Jimmy. Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because Jimmy does nothing. He's just a lackey at this point.
His career is not where I thought it'd be.
Not to say he's not talented. He's amazing. I love the Usos back when they were doing when they used to enter doing the tribal dance and everything. But he right now the only one out of that one is his brother. That's it. So Solo.
Well, real quick, can you tell me what you love about Solo?
I think he's a physical specimen. I think he needs to speak a lot more, but right now he does
speak at all.
He does his role well. He does his role well. But I saw when he faced John Cena, he was phenomenal in that match. So I think he could be a star. I think he could lead if he just starts dropping promos here and there. So it'll be interesting to see once Roman Reigns goes away, if and when he loses the championship for a little bit.
2029. Okay.
So maybe we'll get to that later. But that's why I love Solo. I think he's just awesome in ring. So I would love to see him do something in the mid-card Intercontinental US title, see what he can do. That's why.
Thank you.
So, all right. Moving on to Gonzo. I explained to Angel earlier that we're thinking of the picks for
hold
you.
On. Gonzo. Wait, who would he push Perry fire real quick from those three?
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
We're firing. Is it Jimmy, right? He's the brother that is not that great. He's getting fired for sure.
Okay.
And then I'd like to bury main event Uso. I want to see more of
Solo.
Mini Umaga is who I want to see more of.
Okay.
Just because it's more of a question mark at this point. Like, main event is doing wonderful things, definitely. I mean, he's over with the crowd. Yeet is losing its mind right now. I want to do a little bit more into the investment then of Mini Umaga. That's going to be great in itself, maybe. Minus the heart attack.
Yeah. All right.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, all right. So, like I said, Gonzo, Angel's out of the box with his, and I was out of the box for mine as well for yours. So you get no wrestlers tonight. You're getting moves. You're getting more specifically submissions. We're going the crossface from He Who Cannot Be Named, the figure 4 leg lock, or the sharpshooter.
Oh man. Oh, how many times have we put those moves on each other?
Only the
Wow.
ankle lock might be more used than those three on each
That
other.
is really tough, to be truthful with you. To be truthful, I think I'm gonna have to eliminate the sharpshooter. We're gonna kiss that goodbye.
Wow.
It's
And then
iconic. So many moments with the
Right?
sharpshooter.
oh my
Go ahead.
goodness. I mean all three of these moves are iconic. It's not that I'm saying like this one is complete garbage. I would never ever want it, but this is unfortunately
Sting, Brett, Rocky. I mean,
no, not Rocks. Rocks was trash.
Rock had a crappy sharpshooter. I
Rocks
have to
was
agree.
trash. That was pretty terrible with his. I'm gonna have to bury the figure 4 leg lock, and then I'm gonna push the crippler crossface to the moon.
Okay. Okay.
So
you could have went anywhere on this one. I'm not hating on any answers. So
I mean, the way that the
a tough
certain
one.
wrestler was able to put that submission on people and be able to just capture it at any moment, that's the danger of the crossface in comparison to the leg moves, because
the RKO of submissions.
right. And I mean, again, the wrestler, again, I would love to say his name, but unfortunately I'm not going to. He was able to just put that on the ground, standing up from behind, from any type of position, and he was able to lock it in on you. Where like the figure 4 and the sharpshooter, I mean, you have to be in a very specific place for parts of it. But the crossface, I feel, could be dropped at any moment, and you have to be a really good in-ring technician to really lock that in. And that's where I have much more appreciation then in order to pull that off.
okay.
Respect. Much respect.
Angel, what about you?
I'll make it quick. This one's tough, so I respect his. I'm probably going to push the figure 4, Ric Flair. Woo! It's just iconic. I can go on for days about the figure 4 leg lock, like the way it's done, the way who did it. Just just an iconic move in general. For the bury, it's tough. I'm probably gonna bury the sharpshooter. There's just so many like iconic moments, iconic events, matches, wrestlers. I know people love to hate on Bret Hart a little bit, or Rocky used it. It sucked according to you guys, but I mean, Sting's was iconic. So I'm gonna bury the sharpshooter, and I'm gonna bury the crossface only because we've only seen one person really pull it off and make it big. And I don't know if it's a move that everyone can pull off and make it look the way he made it look. So I'm just curious. I just said I love the sharpshooter. Over the figure 4, you're a Ric Flair fan. Shut up. But yeah, I need to see a little bit more from the cross. I'm about to call it the crippler crossface. From the crossface. That's how iconic it is to that person. I'm calling it the crippler crossface. Like I need to see more from it. But yeah, that's my view.
Okay. I'm pushing the figure 4. I am burying the crossface, and I'm firing the sharpshooter.
Damn, Gus is pissed.
But I love the sharpshooter because Bret Hart is on my Rushmore of just the technicians, not overall goats. I'm talking about technicians. Right. I love Bret Hart, and he has arguably the greatest line of all time. The best there is, the best
real quick,
there ever will be.
The Montreal screw job. How did that match end?
He was put in the sharpshooter, was he not?
I'm pretty sure Shawn Michaels had him in the sharpshooter.
They had him in the
sharpshooter. The ref called it,
and then they just called it. He never tapped out. Yeah,
that moment in history, that's a big moment, man.
Yeah.
Okay, just had to say that.
All right. Angel's final push, bury, fire, Gonzo, and then we can move on. Last one.
No problem.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
This one's for Angel then, and this is going to be from the perspective of the announce team.
Oh wow!
So you're going to have Michael Cole, JR, Paul Heyman.
Oh wow!
Oh,
Heyman.
Have fun.
That's rough.
ECW, Paul Heyman.
Paul Heyman. Just have fun. Doesn't matter.
Paul Heyman
Doesn't
was an
matter
announcer. Yeah, just an announcer, dude. He came in during the what was
He
it
didn't
called?
announce in ECW.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
He did.
He
right?
did ECW.
Okay.
He did WWE. He did them both.
Yeah,
he worked with
I
JR.
only remember him mostly in ECW. I can't really remember him outside of announcing.
He did it.
outside
He
of-
did
when the
side by side
invasion,
with JR.
with the invasion, he
Yeah, it was
doing
like part. Yeah, okay. So it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't a long time. Okay,
But that's
I'm
why I
not talking
said.
garbage about Heyman. I'm just trying to remember. I'm trying to get in my head. You know, his announce ability. Oh man, it's tough. I wish I would have seen more of Paul because I can't remember too much. I remember him more for ECW, obviously. But that stinks because Paul Heyman. I know he's going to the Hall of Fame this year, which is amazing because he deserves it. Changed wrestling. Like wrestling will not be what it is today or ever without Paul. Like phenomenal, just mind of in this business. Like we owe a lot to Paul Heyman. I'm going to have to push. Oh, this sucks. I don't like this at all. I'm going to have to push. Oh, man. Okay. I'm biased. I have to stick to what I'm biased to. I have to push JR just because when I think of wrestling, all the moments that I love in the history of my time watching wrestling is JR screaming all the stuff he screams. He's broken in half,
dead.
stunner.
He's dead.
He's dead. Send that man to hell to Triple H every time he came out. You know,
That's
so
Jezebel.
Yeah, like you know, him and King, like just a different animal. I'm gonna bury Michael Cole. Michael Cole, even though he's not as iconic as JR, you know, he's got a couple of them, vintage Orton, you know, other things like that. But Michael Cole is an absolute monster when it comes to being consistent and to showing up to work. He's the opposite of Roman Reigns. He's there every week. He does the job. Doesn't matter. I think he's missed like 4 shows his whole career, and he's been doing this stuff since before we were freaking alive. So he's been there forever, and he's just the model of consistency. Not everybody loves him. You know, he's always going to cheer for the face. That's his job. And, you know, you saw him wearing the antlers this week. He's got a little personality I like him a lot with Pat McAfee. But yeah, I'm gonna bury JR, and unfortunately, I'm gonna fire Paul. But it's not because I don't think he's a GOAT. I didn't get to see enough of him on the announce table to really put him against these two guys. So
I agree. I don't think I would have changed it. I mean, I love Michael Cole. I think he's up there, but I just don't put him ahead of these guys. So
yeah,
it is what it is.
Good one, guys.
It was a good one. We had a lot of out of the box ones today. So thank you guys once again. We'll be clipping these like crazy. So if you see it or if you want to message us privately, we'll do your push Barry fire every week. Just let us know what you guys want us to do, and we'll continue to give us our own. All right. So moving on, we're going to cover just a little bit of NXT Roadblock. We're going to start with the Asylum match between Dijak and David's favorite Joe Crazy Gacy. So we were all trying to figure out what kind of match this was going to be. You know, it was not really given if there was any special rules, and clearly there wasn't. It was basically a hardcore match within a cage. Nothing really came into it. I love the match for what it was, but I just thought there would be some type of special rules considering it was just a first ever. But I mean, all cage matches and Hell in a Cell matches pretty much end the same way with foreign objects in it. So it's pretty much just another one of those matches. But overall, what do you guys think about it?
I wouldn't say it was a same old match. That Dijak moonsault, and I noticed it right away when he climbed up to that spot. There was no wire to hang on to. That dude went up there and somehow was able to balance himself and not fall off the side of the cage. That by itself, honestly, I started to get like anxious, some anxiety watching that. And that moonsault, perfect. And then he ultimately crushed Gacy's face when he landed. That was not across the body. That was definitely across his face, but that takes a lot of that in itself. That takes a lot to go up there and to do that spot. I was definitely blown away by the guy's performance. You had a lot of comedy in there too with the box that can't be opened. And of course, as they opened it up and you have, the, what was it? The boxing glove that came firing out and hitting him in the midsection. So you had your comedy,
Boink
you
the
had
clown
your seriousness.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It gave me everything and then some. And me and Angel have been talking about this now for a couple of weeks. You need that little dice up just to make a serious moment, a little bit plausible, laughable, but I will say that the match to me was a little bit different, and I like that. And the wrestlers that pulled it off, I tip my hat to them.
Yeah, Angel, anything to add?
Yeah, I just a little bit. Gonzo, I think, was spot on with it. I like these two guys. I think that their little rivalry has really put a lot of eyes onto NXT and what it can develop, and how it can make almost. I want to call it AAA, like mainstream WWE matches in their developmental, area, their developmental portion of their business. And it didn't feel like I was watching NXT watching that. And the ending of it was kind of crazy. He had the duct tape around his head and the jacket.
That was a crazy spot.
That was pretty nuts.
As you taking that off and your freaking eyebrows. Oh, I can just think about it right now, dude.
He gets two knees to the face back to back to finally put down the freaking crazy, asylum, wild asylum inmate, and he finally got put down. And it was just, I enjoyed it. Yeah, it was. I think it's what we need to see more of. So I enjoyed it.
So one question before we move on from that match: are they done, or are we going to stand and deliver?
I want to see more of it. Why not? Take them to stand and deliver.
It's fun. I don't see why people. I mean, I guess people could get tired of it. I'm not though, but we like this stuff. We're different. Maybe people don't like it.
Can I throw something out there? First ever NXT Hell in a Cell match.
Oh, that'd be a thing. They haven't done Hell in a Cell. Oh wow. Okay.
Why not? Hell in the Cell. I Quit. Buried Alive. Casket. I don't care. Put them all out there. Something. All right. I'm down for all of it.
All right. Moving on. The No Quarter Catch Crew. So once again, if you guys don't know who that is, the NXT Heritage Cup champion, Charlie Dempsey, which is the son of, William Regal, comes out with his faction, kind of doing like a celebratory type promo. Drew Gulak stated they're also entering the NXT Tag Team Eliminator Tournament, so that faction seemingly getting pushed pretty heavily. What I did want to just talk about was not the win or the faction itself, but kind of the tease that everyone's just losing their minds for. William Regal comes out and confronts his son Dempsey, saying that he had hoped that he would defend it with honor because we saw Dempsey win with dirty tactics. And then Dempsey went right at his father and said he would defend it better than he ever could, kind of teasing a match. Regal has already come out and said that he wants one more match. So, I mean, why not against his son in this type of match with the NXT Heritage Cup with those rules where Regal doesn't have to go a long, grueling match where we have a couple breaks here and there, kind of true wrestling style. Would you guys want to see William Regal do one more against his son in this type of match?
A legacy match?
Mm-hmm.
The way that you just talked about it and explained it? Yeah, why not? I'm actually intrigued by that.
I mean, everyone's just losing their minds about it right now, but obviously Regal's old AF. So, I mean,
if he's going to give me the William Regal where he's jumping and, drinking tea that, he doesn't know is piss and stuff like that, like he's always been comedic gold leading up into matches. So, I mean, I'm not looking for a 30-minute banger here where he has to put on a clinic.
So, I mean, if they do the NXT Heritage Cup rules, it would be 6 3-minute rounds. So it would be 18-minute match with about 30 seconds in between. I think that's something he could do, and it's not something necessarily they have to go all the way through because it's basically either 6 rounds and it goes to a decision, or you win, you get 2 falls and it's over. So it's not something where he might not have to pull off a 20-minute match. So
wait, 3 rounds. 3 rounds.
Didn't
you say 3 rounds?
It's 6 rounds of 3 minutes. Or
it's 6 rounds?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I thought it was 3. Okay.
It's 6 rounds. It's 6 rounds of 3-minute 3-minute rounds.
My fault.
But it won't go all the way. Like obviously, like think of like boxing, where like if you get knocked out, it's over. It's the same deal. If you get 2 falls within those 6 minutes, then it's over.
It's 6 rounds or 2 falls.
Correct. So essentially, you don't even have to go past the first round. You could just pit them twice in the first round.
Yeah. No, that'll work. That'll work. Yeah. I'm not a big fan of legacy matches usually. Unless the guy can really perform, like like a Sting or someone else that can actually pull it off. It's tough It's really hard. You saw Stone Cold against Kevin Owens. Austin tried. He looked okay, but he wasn't. You always see those guys. Especially like legends like that. You always see them at their best. So when they come back out there and they're not able to move around the way you want to see them again. But, this one, it's NXT. It's his son. It's cool. And if they were to do it with those rules, I could definitely see it being done. I think it'd be fun. I like William Regal. He's a great mentor to the companies. He's trained a lot of wrestlers. I think he has a lot of respect in WWE. And he's a little bit of, we don't have many links to the old WWE anymore with, all the craziness going around with the company. So it's cool to see him, Booker T, these guys still in the company, and that'd be a cool match. I'd like to see it.
Cool. All right, let's go on to the best thing about NXT right now, Tony D'Angelo.
Just kidding. The best thing.
Bias. That's total bias.
I'm just kidding. Relax.
That was the family.
The NXT Championship #1 contenders match, Tony D'Angelo versus Carmelo Hayes. But before we go on to that real quick, Tony D'Angelo is growing the family. He adds Luca Crucifino, his consigliere, which basically, if you guys don't know what that is, it's a member of like the mafia. So I do love the whole mafia storyline, who advises the leader, which is Tony D, the Don, and settles his disputes. So I think that's pretty cool that he's finally getting a faction, basically moving himself out of the tag team scene. Giving the underboss a new partner in Luca Crucifino.
Yeah, I saw that, Luca.
Yeah, so I thought that was pretty cool. Like you guys know, I am biased. I love the family. So we saw Tony D'Angelo win.
Wait, real quick.
Yeah.
Do you love the family or do you love Tony or both?
I love his faction, and I love Tony D'Angelo, and I love everything about him. I love his character.
Okay.
I love how he's like a mafia. I mean, gotcha. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but just last week cool. when he got Carmelo's security, he's like, hey, and they all left. I thought that was so boss. Like, you don't even know.
Okay.
I love that. Right. Anyway, but Tony D'Angelo is now the #1 contender for the NXT Championship. I thought the match was great. He uses, because he's the Don, he used Trick's music to distract Carmelo and to get the dub. And then afterwards, he claimed, of course. And afterwards, he had a present for Melo, and Trick returns. So what do you guys think of everything that just transpired? We've been talking about this for weeks. Trick has finally returned. We're setting up Stand and Deliver. Now we know the main event for Stand and Deliver. What do you guys think?
Yeah, we called it. Yeah, we called it. It's going to be what we've been saying. Trick obviously came back. Tony D, I could see him being a big threat to this whole ordeal. I don't know if it's going to be like this triangle or if it's going to be Trick really, beating out everyone on his own. I don't know what's going to happen here, but it's definitely going to be interesting to see at Stand and Deliver. So it's pretty much gone the way we've seen it. We'll see what happens. I think we were surprised that Tony D won. We thought it was going to be more of a DQ, but I'm sure they'll figure out something.
Gonzo?
I was definitely anticipating, not anticipating, I was wanting to hear the crowd's reaction to Trick. And no joke, that little tiny arena, they blew the doors off, they blew the windows off. That amount of energy and pop that he got, you would think that he was at WrestleMania in front of 50,000, 60,000 people. That reaction was no joke.
Just wait till Stand and Deliver.
Man, I'll tell you what, that's what I really wanted to see in here, was just how the crowd was going to react to him. Because he, at that point, that was week 3 of not being on any type of promotion. So that was the only thing I really cared about, truthfully, was just how they were going to introduce him and what the crowd was going to do. So that was wonderful to see in here.
All right, let's not overshadow Tony D. Let's relax there.
Hey, I said he won.
All right. Moving on to the main event, the decision. Let me let's recap this. Let's recap this week. All right. So Seth Rollins is medically cleared, but we don't know if he's 100%. The Rock doesn't enter with Roman Reigns on SmackDown. I thought that was kind of interesting. He has not been entering with him. I thought because he acknowledged him last week, he would come out, but he's still coming out on his own. So I kind of I thought that was a little little thing. You know, everyone wants to feed on that L. That's why I put that in there. What do you guys think about that? Is that some type of significance, or are we just because we want to hear The Rock pop with his new cool ass electricity and all that crap? Or is that something there where he acknowledged Roman Reigns, but he's not really acknowledging Roman Reigns?
Paul Heyman was looking at him sideways when he got in the ring. So again, it's not an accident.
I mean, one, I'm not gonna lie. That entrance is pretty dope.
I love that electric.
Most electrifying man in sports entertainment, and
that was dope.
He's Super Saiyan 2. Like I was feeling it. The lights on him, like
yo, R.I.P.
Oh yeah, rest in peace, the GOAT, Hira. But yeah, the lights on Rocky, that was pretty cool. I gotta give props to him. That was a cool. I thought he was gonna change the music a little bit more, but it was awesome.
His eyebrows turn gold. What?
Super Saiyan.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait a minute, did I miss something? I was like, did I miss something?
His eyelashes. Okay. His eyelashes. His
another thing I want to harp on is the continuous disrespect. Seth Rollins entered with Cody's music through the crowd. Everyone got an entrance. He didn't. Like, I just don't get this crap. Like, I don't understand. I don't understand, man.
It's The Rock's fault. It's The Rock's fault.
Like, obviously we're set for time, but I mean, come on.
Yeah,
like,
he's entering alone. His entrance was amazing. Why does he have to take 30 minutes to walk down the ramp, look at everyone, do the arms? Bro, we love it, but like, come on, man. There's a lot going on besides you showing up. You've shown up a lot lately. We don't need to see that whole thing every time. So just do it quick and let's move on.
So I looked, I watched, you know, or not live, but I mean, I didn't fast forward on purpose. So with commercials, they started this ending segment at the 8:33 mark, Central Standard Time, 8:33 mark. All right. And the Rock and Roman Reigns entrance, when the Rock was all said and done,
10 minutes.
It was at 43. 10 minutes.
But
10 minutes on two entrances.
But Roman's entrance is taking forever. That's like is his entrance. The Rock's isn't.
So now you have these women, you know, last week we were discussing the how Naomi and Tiffy time got cut. Like, now it's like, okay, sorry, Seth, you're the world heavyweight champion, mind you, who also has a main event match that should be considered a main event, but you're just gonna come out with Cody because you're just at this point gonna lose your title and you're just here to back up Cody, and you're probably only 60%, but you're gonna fight 3 matches anyway.
They should have played the Shield music. They were gonna come out from this.
I mean, I would have trolled them, but whatever. But I thought Seth finally did some electricity with his promo. I mean, Seth says The Rock's having a midlife crisis. I thought that was hysterical. He emphatically accepts the match. Not even Cody was doing it. And then you had Roman Reigns coming in there saying, you know, let this little bitch talk for you. I thought the whole promo was pretty cool, even though we already knew that they were going to accept the decision. We've already been talking about they were going to have a tag team match for weeks now. We just knew it was going to happen. But what I love most, and I want to highlight it, is now The Rock is playing a straight up authority character, emphasizing that he's on the board, that he works for TKO, that he vows to take away Seth's title away because he just can. And I love that. That's the whole, I'm your boss, and I'm going to reiterate that I'm your boss, and don't you forget it. Another thing that another added stipulation, Cody can never challenge for the title again if he loses. This is a callback from AEW, and this is a slap in the face to AEW, because when Cody challenged Jericho, Cody says, if I lose, I will never challenge for the title, which is essentially part of the reason why Cody left, because he felt like he was pushing himself, and he listens to the fan, and the fans got to him. So I think this was a callback, and I think that pretty much says it, that Roman is finally going to lose, because you're not going to have Cody lose when he's under contract for 4 more years and not going for a championship. So, I mean, that's just what it is. But I thought that was a nice little slight callback to AEW, and I'm pretty sure Cody thought about that one. Rock also called Cody a mistake. That was another savage moment. And he slapped the shit out of The Rock. So that's our nice little 30-minute of Rock promos, plus whatever he said. David, what did he say in his YouTube this week?
The Rock really didn't talk all too much. on the main show, which in comparison to last week, they put him in the final segment, obviously, so that way you don't turn this into an hour segment, right? And that says the crowd made sure Seth was being honored when he was out there. Yeah, I mean, you hear, the whoa, 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 and literally the line of Diarrhea Johnson all of a sudden on Raw got carried over to SmackDown, and the crowd was on fire chanting that. And there's even a spot, if you caught it, where Cody even started responding to the Diarrhea chants. That was genuine for sure. But Dwayne attempts to talk. He gets cut off by the walking clown emoji, right? And then Seth actually putting him in his place multiple times with the midlife crisis. This is our time. You had yours. Stop impeding on ours. There was a lot of moments where The Rock actually was playing second fiddle. So he did cut a promo before the show even had aired. And I know I'd sent it to both of you guys. I have liked the off-screen promos that he's been doing because he's showing you a little bit more of that loose cannon with the language versus being on televised television and not being able to potentially say everything he'd like to. I will say it adds a little bit more depth just because he hasn't been around in a long time, and therefore I feel like, he's trying to squeeze everything in there. But also with the media promos, he's also doing this from a business standpoint. You're being able to reach everyone that's not a wrestling fan. It's going to go out there, and his name alone constantly is going to come up in search engines, and people are going to see, what the hell is he doing? How is this associated over here? So again, it's all about business with this guy. And so basically his promo beforehand, I didn't care for it at all because he just kept repeating himself. Like 10 minutes of it of just him repeating himself. And I was literally eating cereal this morning, Captain Crunch, peanut butter crunch. And all of a sudden the line that literally I almost spit my cereal out to is at the very end where he's starting to wrap it up. And now it's actually new point after new point. He goes, he goes off, ... is the direction that you can. And so, he was throwing some more shade at Cody, taking shots at the dog, taking shots at Seth, taking shots at what's about to happen. And then he ends again with F your story, right? So it's giving people the opportunity to see a little bit more of Diarrhea Johnson, Heel Johnson, Corporate Johnson. So you're building and adding a little bit more flame to that character.
Gonzo or Angel?
Yeah. So, man, that was a long segment of not much talking. I'll go back to the beginning then, I guess. Them coming from the stands, like I said earlier, they should have played the Shield music. That would have been a little bit.
That was botched, by the way. That whole entrance was botched.
Yeah, at least if they would have played the Shield music, it would have given it more just emphasis on the situation, the history. Obviously
that would have been really cool.
That would have been cool. The way they came, they're together. They represent the new version of the Shield. I think that's the way Seth is kind of leaning this towards. I don't know why they didn't do that. I really thought that's what, like, once I saw them walking down, I'm like, oh, they're gonna. And I just only heard Cody's music, and I was like, what the hell's going on? Anyway, it was cool that they walked down together. It shows their unity. We saw their unity back on Raw. We saw their unity now here coming together on SmackDown. Not much talking. Roman doesn't talk much. He just laughs, calls Seth a cross-dresser because he's wearing like a comforter or whatever.
He was, yeah. What the fuck was he wearing? He was wearing like a comforter, dude. Like,
so I don't know what's going on there. I love Seth. I love him on the mic. I like this alliance with Cody. I just don't get his character sometimes. I'm like, are you like Logan Paul, but just like more wrestler friendly? I don't know. Anyways, Rock's promo on the mic, or the way he got cut off, was perfect because he cut off Cody because Cody was about to tell him the answer, and then he cuts off Cody and then tells us the stipulations that we already knew. Like, how many times are we going to be like the Rock's on repeat mode? Literally, Diarrhea Dwayne. Okay, we know.
Told you.
It's insane. Yes, the part where he calls Cody out for being a mistake. That was interesting. He needs to stay on more of those lines. Stay away from the repeating stuff. We don't want to hear Cody crybabies anymore and stuff like that. And then Seth's Seth's part was probably the best. Cutting off The Rock, doing what The Rock says to everyone else. He should have said it doesn't matter what you're about to say. That would have been pretty funny.
What I liked about that though is that Seth actually was like a main focus. He wasn't just like, yeah, let's go get the bloodline. He was like, no, fuck that. I'm gonna talk. We're gonna beat your ass. Like he was finally like a focal point, even though it wasn't his match. Like
that's the thing.
It was still a focal point. Yeah,
100%. This isn't even his thing, and he's outshining Roman, Rock, and Cody at the same time. I've been saying that I think Seth is the most talented wrestler right now that's just not getting it, like not getting the love. And in this storyline, he's been in the back seat or the background. And this SmackDown, he finally showed himself the way he needs to be seen as a true threat to everyone involved. And it was cool to see him actually stand up to The Rock, get in his face. He wasn't afraid of him. He was daring him to slap him, and Rock didn't. Rock back down. And it was cool to see Seth actually stand up for what he's actually saying. So I enjoyed Seth's part, so it was cool. And as far as the match goes, I don't know, are we gonna get to that, like what we think about this tag team match?
No, yeah, go right into it. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So as far as this tag team match is concerned, yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It's kind of the stipulations that you were talking about. How many more stipulations can we put on it? I do not like that The Rock said he can never go for it again. I would have rather Roman had said it. If we needed Roman to say, if we had Roman say it, it would have been more of like he's just saying it, right? Versus Rock saying it now that he's pretty much, I'm just gonna say the name. He's the McMahon of this era at this point. Being on TKO, it is like he's back in that situation with AEW, and it's like, dude, he can't lose now, right? Like he's gonna be in the same position. So I don't like that Rock said that. Roman barely talks. They should have had Roman say that. Roman could still say that, and we could still be like in ambiguity where we don't know what, like, whoa, because Roman said it. Is that going to be a real thing? We don't know, right? But now Rock's saying it. I don't know. It's kind of tough. The match itself, I'm excited for it, but I don't like that it's going to outshine so much around it. And
it is. It's going to main event night one, man.
Yeah, it's going to main event night one. I'm not a fan of killing off everything else, burying everything else. But I am excited to see these guys fight. It's a lot of fun. It's just so big. It's really eating up a lot of stuff around it. So we'll see, though.
I agree. Gonzo, do you have anything you want to add before we move on?
Nah, I think we can shift off.
All right, cool. So we're just going to go and talk about the WWE Hall of Fame. So we had the U.S. Express, Bull Nakano, and then right now in Philly, which this is absolutely perfect, Paul Heyman. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, definitely the perfect place to do it. I actually didn't even expect it, to be honest. And I was like, oh man, it makes so much sense. Like it didn't even dawn on me. It was Philly,
ECW.
ECW.
I was like, yeah. So, but the thing is, it's crazy. So, like, is he the headliner? Is there, because usually they do about like 5 or 6 Hall of Fame inductees. You would think he would be the headliner. So, who do you think? I mean, I know it's a tough question because I've been trying to think who else he would add, but like
The Rock told you. The Rock told you who's going to be in it.
Who do you think? What? Go ahead. Say what you
said. It. He said, "Isn't your brother a WWE Hall of Famer?" And then he said, "Oh, future WWE Hall of Famer."
Oh, you think so?
Mr. Rhodes. Yeah. He's in it.
But he's not there. Already. He's not there.
They did it with Billy Gunn. They've already done it with Billy Gunn. It's going to be the same thing.
Okay. You agree with that?
Especially if he's part of the story. The story.
Well, I'm glad you just mentioned that. So I don't know if you guys watched the pay-per-view, but Sting, I want to put that. So they mentioned Sting's they acknowledged Sting's last match on the broadcast.
Michael Cole did.
Yeah. So I thought that was amazing. That was great clap.
He cut off Pat McAfee real quick when he said that match last night was great. He's like, shut up.
Yeah. They also said that the match was he said it was an epic match. That's what McAfee said. And they used a lot of video packages from WCW from back in the day. OG Sting, they let him use his Surfer song to come out. So that tells me definitely a deal has been struck. So,
and Rocky making that mistake.
I think 100% we're getting Goldust. I don't know about a Hall of Famer. I do like that, but he wouldn't be called Dustin. He would definitely be called Goldust in WWE. So I don't think they'll give him his name. They'll just do Goldust. But I think he's definitely gonna now 100,000,000% play a part in the story of Cody Rhodes for the WrestleMania. So because something had to be reached, unless Tony Khan just gave him a shitload of money, be like, hey, I gotta give him a send off. But that's what seemingly. I mean, that's not out there. Tony Khan just likes to pay. He don't care. He don't give a shit. But yeah.
With
so
Vince out,
yeah.
I think the relationship between the two companies will be a lot different going forward, and this might be the start of the two companies not seeing each other as rivals as much, because AEW is not a rival yet. Unfortunately, they're just not there yet.
So no, I agree with you. Yeah, of course. But yeah. So okay, Angel added. It could be a Goldust or Dustin Rhodes added to the Hall of Fame. I like that. So we shall see, but definitely Paul Heyman in Philly could not be more perfect for ECW. So congrats to him and the other guys too. Gonzo, before we wrap up the show, I know you wanted to talk about something, so we're going to give you the floor. Go ahead and educate me and Angel on what's going on.
Oh yeah, no problem. I won't be too long. And so I'll shout out Matt Abate actually to sending me a YouTube video of it was like a really ominous YouTube video, and it was like really just wonky. And then all of a sudden, it sounded like Bray Wyatt, but ultimately it's Taylor Michael Rotunda. And ultimately, it was a promo video of Rotunda talking about how he is going to continue Bray Wyatt's story. And so I went down this rabbit hole, and it's referred to as Dreadmare. And the channel has a total of, I believe, 10 videos. They're all about 2 minutes long. I think there's one that's only 4 minutes long. And it's all about Rotunda just talking about Fireflies, Bray Wyatt, the Wyatt Six. He identifies the reason that he's doing this. And apparently, he had come out with another YouTube channel. It's called It Begins Again, which has only 5 videos, and this was 3 months ago. And the first video was titled "Unmasking My Dark Secret." And so, where this has been this whole time, I have no idea. But I have always loved the Bray Wyatt character. I like the mystery. I like the lore, and the dynamic of these videos, these vignettes. It's something definitely to watch. Mark, I know you watch a lot of wrestling. This honestly could probably take up maybe 15 minutes of your time, but he talks a lot about NXT. He talks about Cody Rhodes. He talks about The Undertaker. He talks about all these different dynamics, and has picked various aspects and has introduced that his personalities have been that of a Bo Dallas. It's been that of an Uncle Howdy. And there's something coming that ultimately he doesn't want WWE creative to mess up. He wants something new. He wants something fresh. And he wants WWE to actually listen to the crowd. And I'm going to now move forward with doing exactly what my brother was in line. He name drops The Fiend. You see The Fiend scream through several times of this because the production on all of these videos is top tier. I will say that. And so it's almost like Apocalypse from X-Men, where he's starting to gather his 4 horsemen. He name drops Alexa Bliss. He talks about why she actually didn't appear at the Royal Rumble. It wasn't her time just yet. Shawn Spears has now been recruited. He comes over from the Forbidden Door. He starts name dropping AEW, and he starts talking all these different dynamics. And so, like I said, it's definitely something to give a listen to, definitely give a watch to. And again, Taylor Rotunda, he's only 33 years old. It's not like he's pushing 40 or he's this individual that's past his prime. He never had a prime. Is Bo Dallas. We all have to believe. So it's got me definitely intrigued. I will say that.
Believe.
I did believe in Bo Dallas until he got to the main show, and then they fucked that up. No, that's very interesting. That's something I'll probably check out.
What's his original relationship with the Wyatt family?
Bo Dallas?
Yeah.
He's the brother of Bray Wyatt.
Actual brother of Bray Wyatt. That's his actual brother.
Oh, my fault. Yeah.
And he's come out and identified himself as Uncle Howdy. And Uncle Howdy was the last thing that Bray Wyatt was doing as he came back, and he was pushing a new version of his dichotomy with his personalities.
God, he was his brother. I like that. Just
Uncle Howdy's also in 2K24. Just saying, it's pretty cool.
Well, here's another quick fact: the U.S. Express, that's the Rotunda family right there. Wyndham and the Rotunda family. So, that's what, dad and uncle, right? If memory serves me correctly. So, I mean, that's pretty significant just to tie the family lineage into this whole thing.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. I mean, now that you explained it, maybe I'll take the time. It's just I'm so over these YouTube promos, but I'll definitely take a look
this
at
is
it.
This is not Dwayne Johnson where he's talking in circles. So, and you know what? I'll even say he sounds better than Bray, because Bray had a tendency of talking in mysteries and circles and never get to a point.
That was part of his lore, though.
It was a little bit too much. Yeah, it was a little bit too much. But yeah, definitely give this a listen to and a watch. It's definitely worth your time.
Okay. All right.
So after Bo left WWE, he was aimless. What happened with him?
Didn't do anything I think he did some indie shows here and there, but didn't really get on like a full-time promotion.
I forgot, but I remember now when Bo came into WWE. Yeah, wow. I totally forgot about that whole storyline.
He was part of the B Team tag team with him.
Right. Right.
What was Perfect Son's name? Curtis Axel? Was that what it was?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. Axel, dude. But like the whole Bray thing, I totally forgot, because he never was. Did they ever really do anything with him and Bray on the show? I don't remember.
Uncle Howdy, but then Bray passed away.
Uncle Howdy, so that whole storyline stopped.
Wow, I totally forgot about that. I remember Bo just being his own wrestler and part of the Curtis Axel thing. I totally forgot that he was even his brother. It's crazy.
So, all right. Well, now you guys got your suggestions, for what to watch that's not a promotion. So maybe we'll all talk about that next week. Maybe if we all check it out and give more time on it. All right. Well, that wraps up our show. Went a little long today, but obviously the conversation and engagement was there. We want to appreciate you guys for, commenting, adding to the conversation. So we're about to get out of here. Angel, why don't you tell everybody what you got going on and where we can find you?
You can find me on Twitch during the week, weeknights, at @A_OK Gaming. You can find all my socials on there, like TikTok and Instagram. Gaming, playing sports, shooters, team strategy games, whatever's out usually. Probably I'm gonna get WWE 2K24 soon. Hopefully stream some of that. But yeah, you can find me anywhere on those handles, playing in gaming and hanging out with these guys. So
cool. Gonzo.
As far as what's going on with me, it's going to be TikTok, Instagram. Those are going to be the two big ones that I do a lot of my postings with. YouTube, of course, with the videos here. And then as far as the clips, I'm learning Cape Cut. So I'm almost there to be able to start punching some of those things out. And that way I can put some more content out. And that's going to be at raising_personalities. Those platforms are going to have that name. And as far as the Twitter machine, or it's now called X, it's going to be David_MA_LCPC, as you see it there. And so that's ultimately what I got going on. It's definitely more wrestling heavy at the moment. And so that's where I'm loving, and that's where I'm going to keep it for right now.
Awesome. All right. Well, you guys know me, Marc Pro Wrestling _ Kingpin. You can find me on all social media. I'm more famous on TikTok. Everything else I'm still trying to build. So please, if you see me, give us all a follow, comment, share. It does wonders for us in growing. I'll be doing the Jelly Cards podcast again pretty soon as we get closer to WrestleMania. We'll just be discussing the card market as they lead up to WrestleMania. So make sure you go give my boys a follow on Apple and Spotify podcast. Other than that, you can catch us every Saturday for the most part, 9:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, live on YouTube and our Twitches. So once again, we appreciate you guys. Hope to see you next week, and we're out of here.